Joe DeFelice, Regional Administrator of HUD Mid-Atlantic. We cover Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and D.C. Due to the issues around COVID-19 and social distancing and the like, travel for me has been rendered impossible. So I've been trying to get around this region virtually. Before this, we've been to 185 counties throughout the region, but now we have to try to get around here virtually. So we figured we're starting this Mid-Atlantic meetup, get around, talking to our partners that are working in the field, doing our work, and just kind of see, a little bit about what they do and how they're coping. Today, I'm joined by two guests, frankly. One is Maria Bynum, our Delaware Field Office Director. She does an excellent job. And the other is Ajit George, CEO of Second Chances Farm. I was first allotted to Second Chances Farm a little bit less than a year ago. Secretary Carson, the president through the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council, has really pushed out the idea of opportunity zones. So when I first heard about Ajit, I said, I need to go see this place. We went there last year before it was even up and running. We returned again this February, January, February this year, and we met with Ajit, we met with his team. Ajit hires formerly incarcerated individuals and really gets them back to work, right? This place is in an opportunity zone. It's funded by capital gains dollars, and it sits adjacent to the Riverside housing development community. It's public housing development. So he's really checking all the boxes. He sees that he can have social impact and make some money too. I mean, that's what opportunity zones were all about. So Ajit, why don't you tell me a little bit of background, and we'll get to COVID-19 later. I'll kick that over to Maria, but why don't you give me a little bit of a background about how Second Chances Farm came about?
Sure. It came about by an accident of series of conversations. I wanted to have a legacy project in my life. I'm 65 and going to be 66 in May. So 3 years ago, on my 63rd birthday, I invited 63 friends to say, here's what I plan to do by age 70. I plan to create 70 compassionate capitalists by setting up an indoor vertical farm. And the 70 capitalists that I'm going to create are going to be all returning citizens, which are people who have served their time, repay their debt to society. We ended up in this building on September 4th. You happened to be one of the visitors a week before. We actually moved into this building. It's a 47,500 square foot building in an opportunity zone, very economically depressed area next to, as you pointed out, to Riverside community. And what we are doing is building an indoor vertical farm that's hydroponic, that's pesticide free, that can grow produce in herbs 365 days and service our community. So that's what our ambition is, and our plan is to do multiple farms. This is our first farm.
Hold that thought. We're going to circle back to how you guys are responding to COVID-19. Because as you know, I've championed what you guys are doing in Wilmington. I said it to all my HUD colleagues at a roundtable we had last year. I spoke in Harrisburg about this similar topic. I mean, the innovative way that you have taken this, right? Because people came in with opportunity zones and they said, you know what, let's invest in properties. And you guys said, yeah, we're going to invest in properties, but we're going to invest in the business side too, which was innovative, and it was one of those things that wasn't maybe shovel ready and ready to go, and you guys flipped it. So I'm going to turn it over to Maria now, because Maria, Ajit was talking about COVID-19 and how that's kind of changed everything. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're experiencing in Delaware, and maybe we can kick it back over to Ajit to find out how they've responded.
Yeah, Ajit, as you said, we are in shelter in place at this point, and so only essential businesses are operating, and we are asked to stay at home and practice social distancing and to use our face masks when we go out, and a series of other regulations as the governor has issued. So for you to be in a position to revamp and retool so that you can operate after having the governor's, order that you could not any longer service the patrons that you thought you would be able to service. So your ability to retool shows your creativity and your innovative spirit.
I mean, I'd rather just hear it from Ajit directly about how they've retooled.
So, Joe, I think there is a bit of luck, a bit of grace, and God's grace really has shined on this. So on the morning of the 17th, I woke up with harvesting still in place, but with no customers. I said I had a choice. I could shut it down because obviously without restaurants, we didn't have a market. We had no intention of selling retail. We were not ready to sell retail. And so my choice is I had a whole bunch of returning citizens look into my eyes and says, are you going to continue to be here because they're getting paid and I had investors, I had my other colleagues. I looked into their eyes and said, what can we do differently? So I decided I'm going to do something I never thought I would do, which is to try to do a farm-to-table home delivery program. We had no idea how to do it, but we worked on it, amended our home Facebook, our website, created a letter, put it on Facebook by 5:30 on that evening on St. Patrick's Day. I'll always remember this St. Patrick's Day. We said we have a farm-to-home delivery program for fresh produce. Would you like to sign up for $99.95 for 4 weeks of delivery? And we'll deliver it to your home in northern Newcastle County, southern Chester County, and southern Delaware County. And we put it out there, not knowing how it would happen. I had zero idea how we would deliver any of this. And frankly, we didn't even know how we would package, because we were packaging for wholesalers, not for retailers. And much to my surprise, I will tell you, as of today, we have 244 customers that signed up. We have sold out everything we are growing for these customers. And we had to create a home delivery program, a route mapping program. And it's really the word pivot, which has never been in my vocabulary, really is the word of the day, resilience on it. And I would say God's grace. I mean, it takes all of that. But I think I am very grateful. I'm not going to commit to this, but we might end up with a new business line, which is home delivery, which we had never thought before. But people like the fact that we are delivering fresh produce that's locally grown. And I think people are really understanding how vulnerable the food supply chain is, particularly the food supply chain is, and how dependent we are on long distance shipping. And because we're local, we can harvest and send it to people's tables in less than 24 hours.
See, that's awesome. And so you figured it out. At the end of the day, you figured it out, right? You didn't know what you were going to do. You figured it out, and you were prepared to be able to respond. And that's how innovation happens a lot of times. So this is, I mean, obviously there's a ton of negative news out there, and following with the deaths and the sickness. I mean, it's horrible, but at least there's some bright spots. Your people are now still working, right? And they probably have more than they can handle.
Absolutely more than handle. And we're now talking about bringing the next cohort of 10 on April 27th. So the 10 returning citizens, Joe, and we are hoping to have one of them be returning from a federal prison, thanks to President Trump's new federal bill. So we are hoping the next cohort will have some. I know you had asked about it before. And so we have gone from being on the verge of extinction and frankly being, as I think, a footnote in the tsunami, because if we had gone out of business, I don't think we would have resurrected. And I think the fact we're alive and we're selling, it gives us hope. And we are now talking about hiring 10 more people, and hopefully we can find some funding from the PPP and other things to help us, and maybe some grant dollars, and we can expand. So right now we are being bold and being optimistic, which might be insane, that we are going to try to expand and grow.
Well, continue to be bold, continue to be compassionate, continue to be a leader. Marie, do you have anything to close out with?
No, just want to salute you, Ajit, for being so flexible and innovative, and you inspire us all. Keep up the good work.
Thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for your support.
And Ajit, I like the tie. That's a Second Chances Forum tie you got on there, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I decided if I'm going to be on a call with you, I had to wear a tie. So I normally don't wear ties in this because no one comes to visit us. But since I'm visiting you virtually, I wanted it to look like I have a Second Chances tie.
Wonderful. It looks great. Next time I get down, I just finished up my last batch of pesto that I got from your basil last time I was there, and it was really great. Hey, listen, thanks for joining us. Keep up the great work, and as you know, we're always here if you need us. Thank you, Ajit. Have a safe and
Thank you, Joe.